Okay, everybody, I am hooking up a SEM meter to my electrical panel today. I have already started, so you'll see some parts missing in the box, but I'm going to show you what I have in the box. Didn't want to bore you with that, but I will show you how it goes. So these are what they call the 50 amp CTs. This is what would go on the 120 side of your breakers, and the arrow has to point away from the breaker on the inside here. I'm trying to do it one-handed. On the inside here you can see, maybe you can't, can you see that arrow? The arrow's going to the right. So the arrow has to face away from the breaker on these 50 amps. I'll show you on the box where there are two bigger ones that goes on the two poles that the two legs that come into the breaker box. They are for the 200 amp service. But in total, I've utilized 5 of them already, and I'll show you that. And then we have more here, so there's a total of 16. So let me go to that real quick. I'll show you the box. I already hooked it up, but at the very top up here you have A, B, and C, and those are for the CTs. And then you have 1 all the way through 16 of the 50 amps. Okay, and then down below here there's a port for your wiring harness to hook up, and I will show you that. So before I go any further, on the 200 amp CTs, that's what these things are. Well, the ones that are hooked up to the box. Let me put it this way. These on this side are the 50 amp CTs. And it shows you which direction away from the breaker that you have to go. Okay? And then down here it gives you the wiring diagram to hook up the power to this device. And along with it, there's an antenna, and this is an antenna extension. The box itself to be on the inside of the panel, and the antenna on the outside. The antenna would go up on this side, and then this screws into the box. Along with it comes 3 of these black wires. That's for hooking up the power to 2 breakers in the box. I'll show you that with 3 wire nuts. And then you have a 3.5 little rubber nipples that they plug the holes inside of the box. I'll show you that too. And then there's a 2.5 as well. There's more nipples there for any of the ports that you are not using. So let me go over to the breaker box and I'll kind of give you an explanation of that. So here's my breaker box. Yes, it looks like a bunch of spaghetti. That's because this is going to be temporary for me. I'm not going to keep this all hooked up at all times. I'm just wanting to see how many kilowatts I'm using, how many watts, and how many volts and amps. I can read that on the software. So this is the box I just showed you on the paper. You got the antenna there, and then you got the A, B, and C. See the little rubber thing on the right next to those plugs? Those are those little rubber mounts I was telling you about, or the plugs I was telling you about. I've already got 1 through 5 hooked up. Okay, and then here's your power. So your red and your black comes in on both poles. Okay, so you gotta use 2 different breakers to be able to get both poles so it hooks up properly. And these are the 2 pigtails that I use with the wire nuts. Okay, so the blue in North America here, the requirement is that you take the blue and the white, you tie them together and put them on this pole, which is your neutral. Okay, your white wire pole, and then the red and the black goes to your breakers. They ask that you put them on a 15 amp breaker. I've seen it done on 20 amp breakers and it still works. So this is all controlled with an app, so you have to have your Wi-Fi hooked up and working for it to connect to, and also Bluetooth. So this is a little weird. This is a double wide mobile home, and from whoever did the electrical and how they do the electrical work, they utilize like the red poles on this is 240, and these green ones are 240. You know, instead of doing a breaker like these with a double throw, they do it like this for whatever reason. I don't know. Anybody have any understanding of that? Please leave a description below. But so instead of using two of these CTs, the 50 amps, you only hook it up on one side. In the software, you can change it. You put in two instead of one. It's actually 2 point instead of just putting in two. It won't read it. I'll show you that in the software if I can find it. So I'm just doing the 240s right now. Or 220, however you want to refer to it. Like my dryer, my range, hot water heater, stuff like that. Things that pull 220. That's what I'm reading first, and then I'll probably hook up all the 110 stuff and see what I'm drawing for kilowatts, because in my home I range anywhere from 16 to 19 and 1900 and something kilowatts per month, and that's a lot. So I need to see where I'm getting a draw. Okay, so down here you'll see these are my two legs coming in. Okay, 110, or 120, 120, 240, and these are the big CTs, the 200 amp CTs. Now these are asking that the arrows point to the breaker, so that's what I did. The 200 amps arrow goes to the breaker. The 50 amps CTs go away from the breaker. So that's how that works. So you can see how I have a flush mount box here. I would have to somehow drill through the wall, or come through one of the holes in order to hook up my antenna so that I get good readings. I still may do that, maybe come up off the top up here somewhere and put my antenna and put it in here permanently. But the only other problem is outside the house. This is inside my house. Outside I have another breaker box that controls stuff like my well pump, my shop. I have a 100 amp service going down in my shop. What else is there? I have a little outbuilding that has a couple lights in it, so there's power going to that. So anyways, I got to read those as well and see what's going on there. So this is what I have so far. I went in and relabeled all of the circuit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like I said, there's 16 of them. You can see them all down here. They're kind of doled out. But I went in the app and labeled, hot water heater, dryer, furnace, range, furnace, blower motor, that kind of stuff. And then in the middle, I'll turn the dryer on just so you can see the numbers pull up. Give me 1 second. Here's my dryer. I'll turn it on. Dryer is on. Let's look at the app. Okay, you can see there, right here where it says 86. I'm sorry if it's blurry. So it looks like I'm pulling 2.669, and it fluctuates a little bit. 664, 660 on the dryer, and this is on kilowatts. You can see up here it says kilowatts, and then these back and forth arrows, if you tap on it, you can change from amps to volts to CO2 to the cost of what it would cost. But yeah, you'd have to put them parameters in. But like watts, if I put in watts, let's go back here. Now it's reading watts. Dang it, it's sensitive. Okay, let's go back to kilowatts. So kilowatts total usage 3.145, and the dryer is saying 2.675. So where is it getting the other 3 point something at 85%? Not sure exactly how these readings work. I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit more. But you can go down here to the graph. It will show you a graph. You can set up alerts. You can go in and check your profile, measure units, emails, feedback, knowledge base, software updates, frequently asked questions. And I wanted to show you how to get to change the names on these circuits so that it's easier to read what device, or what appliance or what outlet or what lights that you're running. So how you do that is you go up here to the upper right corner, and then you do the device settings here, hit that little gear, and then you scroll down here to circuit editor, and this gives you I already have them labeled, but normally like this one says circuit 11, because I didn't do anything with circuit 11, nor did I do anything with 15 and 16. So I'm just going to go into 16 just to kind of give you an idea what I'm talking about. So up on the top here, you can click on this and you can give it a name of whatever you want. I'm not going to label it because I don't want to mess up my how I have mine set up. But here's the multiplier I was showing you earlier in the video. Here, if you were doing a 240, 220 breaker, and you only have one of the CTs, the 50 amp CTs on one of the legs of that breaker, you're going to want to click here and delete it and put 2 and the point, and then you want to save it for that particular breaker, and that just tells it that it's pulling off of 2 legs even though you only have one CT reader on that line, and then you just save it. I'm not going to save it, but I just wanted you to see how you do that. Not only that, up on this top line again, whatever you type in this area for whatever appliance, the lights, the living room, bathroom, whatever it is, once you save it, is what's going to show up here, and eventually all the way to your home screen, which is over here. So that way you can kind of look at what the reading is for your kilowatts or your amps, your watts, whatever it is, and you can assess where you're struggling with your power usage. Okay. Well, I went ahead and hooked up all the rest of the CTs, the 110, 120s. Put a hole through the wall and went ahead and did my my antenna. I just put a hole through the wall there. It's not really hard mounted, but that's my antenna, so I could close up the box. So we'll see and do some testing and see what type of kilowatts I'm using.